Welcome to the Trinidad Cast. It is episode 8. 8 out of 8 so far. Started sometime last year. Just for your general knowledge, this is the second recording of this one, just in case you didn't know. Of course you didn't know because you're hearing this the first time. But my computer just froze on me. Full disclosure,
He has a Windows machine.
And all you Mac people are probably saying to him, you see, that is why you should get a Mac. Yeah, clearly. All right, so that I feel it's a graphic. You know, I already in troubleshooting mode. My head done started going like, all right, as soon as we finish here, I go and download new drivers and I go and update drivers and all kind of thing. And we had a real very cool intro for the previous one talking about calendars and thing, but now I can't force that talk because it will feel so like, you know, you're trying to recreate a moment, and it real sucks when you try to recreate a moment in this world. So let's just go into the things that we're talking today. This is Mr. Redbit himself. We will not say his government name ever. And good afternoon to you, sir.
Afternoon. I mean, people who know me probably know my government name, but I'm not gonna put that out here for free.
No, for free. That's valuable information there. That as intellectual property, that's, you know, trademark. Trademark from your parents. Who is from South, I just found out today.
Yeah, originally from South. And I mean, talking to him earlier, typical Northeast person had no idea where Claxton
Bay was. Wait, you call me a Northeast person?
North/East.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, beyond the lighthouses, South kind of person, you know?
Nah, man.
Typical person, he didn't know where Claxton Bay was.
I know
he had no idea where St. Margaret's was. He didn't even know St. Margaret's exists. We had a place called St. Margaret's in Trinidad, you know?
For real? It wasn't St. Margaret's you said? It's something else you said that I didn't know.
St. Margaret's, no. St. I mean, and that's what we're all about here on this podcast, educating people, whether it's technology.
James. Yeah.
You know, whether it's technology or at least basic knowledge about your country. Your country. It's not just, it's not a different country.
It is,
you know?
Grand Bazaar, Caroni, Shogunas, Couva, Gasparilla, and then Sando. That's the...
Yeah, and what beyond Sando? Die deep south, and
Penal.
Anyway, let's get into the topics.
Alright, so we're talking today about businesses can't register in Trinidad and Tobago because our server is down. How cool is that? Google in panic mode, yes or no, because of AI, and retail in Trinidad. Is it dead or alive? And we have little things in between and whatnot. So let's head into the first topic. First one is no new companies could register. I'm sharing this link and let's all have a nice laugh, I guess, because boy, you're good boy, but laugh. No new companies registered following system crash last year. No new companies have been able to register to legally conduct business in this country since last year. That's because the company's registry systems aid servers crashed since December 9th and have not been up and running since then. What is the first thing that jumps out to me, to you here, boy?
So, I mean, if you're running like an enterprise system, which I assume this is, you know, you're supposed to have like a maintenance schedule and a schedule where you monitor not only your hardware but your software to make sure you're within the support period. Your hardware not too old, because sometimes, you know, if you're beyond 5 years, beyond 6 years, you need to refresh, you know, to mitigate risk of hardware failure. You know, and you could attest to that, you know, your computer froze earlier, you know, you probably need to monitor your stuff, make sure your drivers
updated. That is true. But you talking about it like you in a private company, right? And I saying that I know people working in the government, and I know some of them running a Dell Blade 2860 or something so on a rack right now that have no cooling. If one of the fans not working, and
Alaska fan pointing at it,
and it using tape drives to back it up, right?
Yeah.
And I know when they say 8 servers, the first thing that jumped to my head is AS400, right? AS400 server is like what them big insurance companies, something used to use back in the late 90s. That was a big like database that used to hold. It was a command line interface basically, and it was just not pretty, but it used to work all the time. But there was a time when they stopped servicing them. They stopped supporting them basically. And you had to take on the support for yourself, buy the parts and all that kind of stuff. And private companies was like, no, this thing too hard to maintain. And essentially what you just go and do is buy a Dell server, a Xeon processor inside of it, and you copy the tables, the SQL tables, and the same SQL server running on it now. But I feel the government, I don't know. I am not surprised, but I'm also... This is real sad because registering a business is something that the government pushing people to do. Be an entrepreneur, be technological, do things, and you had to find your way because you can't depend on the government to do everything for you and all that kind of talk. And since the 9th of December, you can register a business.
Yeah, and I mean, they had the big launch, I think, back in 2020, where they started, offering the online service, to register your business online, do a lot of the stuff online. And I mean, to go from that in 2020, I mean, when you're launching that service, you would have hoped, that they would kind of look at your resources and see if you can not only handle that, but handle the other stuff that you're doing. But clearly they probably didn't look at the stuff then,
So, but yeah. Now I'm going to say a word, right? And the word I'm going to say is backup. When you hear backup, what was the backup plan that a place should have if a server goes down? Do you think that they should have a comparable machine next to it waiting right there with probably like less RAM or something, and they just slide in the data? Or
so when you're looking at backup disaster recovery,
right?
That's
yeah,
exactly what you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have your same machine in your same server room next to the other one.
Right.
Next thing you have a earthquake where you have
fire or something. Yeah,
it should be at a separate location, and it should be similar machines. I could quickly switch over. I could do a switch over.
Right. You
restore
pull out the hard
backup
drive
if needed.
Yeah.
So first you need to be a separate location. So have a disaster recovery plan.
Yeah.
Knowing that, okay, you go down now, we could be back up in 20 minutes, half an hour. But here it seems to be
with a checklist and all that kind of stuff, because that's exactly what I teach children in IT. And I'll be like, listen, when you go somewhere, and where I've worked, in the private places that I've worked, that's my dog back in there, just in case all they didn't know. She has decided to star right now. In the companies that I've worked at, a disaster recovery plan was made clear and known to everybody. If this happen, here are the steps. This, because we need to be back up by the next day. Yeah. If so long, right?
And I mean, similar to like fire drills and stuff, you probably take a day or you do a kind of tabletop exercise. That's going through.
That was pain. That was real pain. That tabletop exercise, because we had to actually, switch over. You had to warn everybody with an email. Let them know that the servers are going to be going down for half an hour because we are doing a drill and all kind of thing. And you start to stay back late after work and do it like 9 o'clock in the night and thing, so that you could test it to see if it's working, so it have at least problem as possible. But there's a part of the article, right, that says it happened to another server. The Business Guardian was reliably informed by a source that this was the second time there had been a major server crash, as there had been a crash of the property database just over a year prior. So it's not a
it's not a new thing.
Yeah, it's not a new thing. It's a known a known issue. And if we go into, I don't know, get this technological thing down, my real question is, who is accountable for it? Is it the IT department? Is it the ICT arm of the government? Is it the internal IT? Is it the consultant who set it up that don't manage it? Who taking the fall?
I mean, generally in a case like this, is who in charge of the monitoring and the control and the, making sure everything up to date, and I usually fall back to the manager. The manager in charge of the operations, making sure there are plans in place. But again, it's government we're dealing with. You never know if he was on top of his game and, he suggests, hey, this hardware old, this software old, we need to get a new software. But, governments and their long procurement procedure, you never know if he say we need this 2 years ago, he probably say we need this, and it's like, you gotta go through bidding,
budget and thing, and
send out RFP, send out this, so you never know if the persons they actually doing the job, but they get kind of stopped by all the red tape and everything you had to go through before you could get the actual hardware.
If this does,
and I mean, we generally reactive, not proactive. So I mean, this happened. So now everybody probably scrambling and is like, yeah, we need this now. So that's probably how.
Let me show you how they scramble. To right. There's a notice that they put up on the website. And they say, in this regard, the department advises that the newly designed and created company's registry online system will be launched in the shortest possible time. The public is advised that to access the CROS registration at a company's blah, 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 please go to the site. So they have a new system that was in the works to come into being. And now they just pushed the date up to the 1st of February 2023 because the old server is going to be laid to rest. By force. That is just oh my goodness. Like, you all have a new system that was going to be put in place, but was it like, somebody dragging their feet, or somebody make a call and be like, hey, you see that thing that we was going to launch in July? We had to launch it now.